This is a calm Italian bedtime story. Let your eyes close and simply listen. The monastery becomes quiet in a way that feels deliberate, not like a town that slowly runs out of noise, and not like a house that finally settles after a busy day. This quiet arrives as if it has been chosen, as if the building itself has decided that the evening belongs to stillness, and every stone has agreed. You reach the monastery along a narrow road that climbs gently through darkening hills. The sky has already turned a deep, soft blue, and the last color of sunset lingers low on the horizon, faint and warm, like an ember that refuses to go out too quickly. The air is cooler here, cleaner. It carries the scent of dry grass, distant pine, and old stone that has spent centuries facing the wind. When you step through the gate, your footsteps change immediately. Outside, the ground was uneven, small stones, a rough path. But inside, the courtyard is smoother, and the sound of your movement becomes quieter, more contained, as if the space is designed to absorb anything loud. A lantern hangs near the entrance, glowing warmly. Its light does not reach far. It does not need to. It simply marks the threshold, a gentle reminder that you have entered a place that asks for calm. You walk forward. The courtyard is simple, open, and clean. Pale stone underfoot, walls rising around you with small windows, most of them dark. A few have faint light behind them, not bright enough to announce life, only bright enough to suggest it. The narrator might tell you that monasteries were built to protect, not only from weather, not only from distance, but from distraction. A monastery is architecture shaped by the decision to live slowly. Tonight, you are not here to belong. You are here to borrow the feeling. You continue along the edge of the courtyard, following a covered walkway supported by stone columns. The columns are thick and calm, their surfaces worn smooth where many hands have brushed them over time. The ceiling above you holds shadows in quiet layers. Your steps are softer now, almost silent. You notice that your breathing has already changed. The air feels fuller. The exhale feels longer. The walkway leads you to an arched doorway, and beyond it, a cloister. The cloister garden sits at the center, modest and protected. A small square of greenery framed by stone, as if the building is holding a piece of nature gently in its hands. There is a low fountain in the middle, barely audible. The water does not splash. It simply moves. Around the garden, the arches repeat, curve after curve, the same shape returning again and again, calm and predictable. The repetition is soothing, not monotonous. It is the comfort of structure, the comfort of knowing what comes next. You walk beneath the arches. Your eyes adjust to the dimness. You begin to notice subtle details, the way the lantern light touches the edges of stone, leaving the inner sections in soft shadow. The way the garden plants seem darker at night, their shapes simpler. The way the fountain's surface holds a faint reflection of the sky. You pause beside the garden. The air here smells different. A hint of damp earth, a hint of leaves, a quiet coolness that feels like the inside of a shaded room. You listen. Water, a faint breeze passing over the courtyard, the smallest sound of a distant door closing somewhere inside the monastery. The sounds do not compete. They sit beside each other without conflict. You keep walking. Somewhere deeper within the building, a bell rings. Not loud, not dramatic. A single tone that travels outward, then fades. The bell does not feel like an alarm. It feels like punctuation, a gentle marker of time that does not rush you. A reminder that evening has arrived, that the day is complete. You find yourself slowing even more. The cloister leads to another corridor, narrower, darker, more intimate. Here, the lanterns are fewer. The light is lower. The stone walls feel closer, and the air cools slightly. Your footsteps make almost no sound. You pass a wooden door with iron hinges, old and strong. The door is closed. You do not need to open it. You simply continue, as if the corridor is guiding you toward quiet rather than toward rooms. At the end of the corridor, you reach a small chapel. The door is partly open. Inside, the space is dim, filled with a soft, warm glow from candles. The candles are not many, a few points of light, resting in darkness. Their flames flicker gently, not from strong air, but from subtle movement in the room, as if the building itself is breathing. You step inside. The chapel smells faintly of wax and old wood. The air is still. The seats are simple, polished by time. The floor beneath your feet is smooth stone, cool and steady. You sit quietly, not because you must, but because the space invites stillness. From this position, your mind begins to loosen. It does not empty, it softens. The edges of your thoughts become less sharp. The day's noise, even if it was only inside your head, begins to feel far away. The narrator might say that places like this are built for listening, not to voices, not to instructions, but to the silence underneath everything else. The silence that is always there, waiting, like a calm lake beneath the wind. You remain seated until the candlelight feels familiar, until the darkness in the corners of the chapel no longer feels like darkness, but like rest. Then you stand again and step back into the corridor. The monastery continues to guide you. You walk past another doorway and catch a glimpse of a long room inside. A refectory, tables made of dark wood, benches aligned neatly. A sense of order, quiet and practical. The room is empty now, but it feels as if it remembers voices, not loudly, but gently, like an echo that has learned to become soft. You continue. A narrow staircase rises ahead. You climb slowly, one step at a time. The stone steps are worn in the center, smoother where countless feet have passed. The air grows slightly cooler as you rise. At the top, You enter a hallway with small windows. Through one of them, you can see the hills outside. The sky is darker now. The last trace of sunset has faded. The landscape is a silhouette, and the stars are beginning to appear, faint and scattered. You stand at the window for a moment. You notice how far away everything feels. Not lonely, but spacious, the kind of distance that lets the mind breathe. A breeze moves outside, bending the shapes of trees. The motion is slow, patient. You turn away from the window and continue down the hallway. The lighting here is different. A small lamp at the end of the hall casts a warm pool of light that fades gradually across the floor. The shadows are soft, stretched, unthreatening. You move through that light and into the darker section beyond. The monastery remains calm, steady, predictable in the best way. You come to another doorway, and inside you find a library. Not large, but intimate. Shelves of old books line the walls. The spines are dark, worn, textured. Some titles are faint, some almost invisible. A wooden table sits in the center with a single lamp above it, glowing softly. The lamp's light falls on a few open pages, as if someone left a book mid-thought and decided the rest could wait until morning. You step closer. You do not need to read. The presence of books is enough. They suggest a life lived quietly, patiently. Words that were written to last, not to rush. You run your fingers lightly along a shelf. The wood feels smooth, warmed slightly by the lamp's glow. You exhale. You realize your body has become heavier in a pleasant way, not tired, but settled, as if the monastery has gently lowered your heartbeat without asking permission. You leave the library and return to the hallway. The bell rings again, a single tone, softer now, more distant. You follow the corridor back down, returning to the cloister. Outside, the courtyard has darkened further. The lanterns glow, and the garden is now mostly shadow, with only faint highlights where light catches a leaf or the rim of the fountain. You walk beneath the arches again. The repetition is comforting. Each arch feels like a familiar frame, a structure you can trust. Your steps align with the rhythm of the building. Your breath aligns with the slow movement of air. You stop by the fountain. The water continues its gentle pattern, steady and quiet. You watch the surface for a moment. The reflections are faint now. The sky is darker, but the water still holds light, still holds movement. It reminds you that even in darkness, there can be softness. You turn and continue your walk. Beyond the cloister, a path leads toward a small garden behind the monastery, enclosed by low walls. The gate is open, and you step through. Here, the air smells of herbs and earth. A rosemary bush releases a faint scent when the breeze touches it. Lavender is present too, even in darkness, a soft fragrance that feels like calmness itself. A small lemon tree rests near a corner, its leaves dark, still. You walk along a narrow gravel path. The gravel makes a quiet sound beneath your feet, a gentle crunch that is strangely soothing, like a sound that proves you are moving slowly, carefully, with intention. You reach a stone bench and sit. From here, you can see the outline of the monastery against the night sky. Its walls are pale, and the lanterns create small warm glows near doorways and windows. Above, the stars are clearer now, not bright enough to distract, but present enough to feel comforting. The sky looks deeper here, farther away. You breathe in. The scent of herbs fills your chest. The coolness of the air makes the breath feel clean. You breathe out. Your body sinks slightly into the bench, supported by stone that has endured centuries. The narrator might say that a monastery teaches you how to let go without losing yourself. It does not ask you to empty your mind completely. It asks you to soften it, to stop gripping, to stop chasing. You sit a little longer. The breeze continues to pass through, gentle and steady. Somewhere inside the building, a quiet step might move along a corridor, then stop. The sound is not intrusive, it belongs to the place. Eventually, you stand and walk back toward the cloister. You pass through the courtyard again, and this time, the entrance lantern feels more distant. The monastery now feels fully in night mode, settled, complete. You return to the hallway that leads toward your final doorway. The steps in the corridor are almost silent now. Your body has learned how to move gently. Your mind has learned how to follow. You reach a small room. Inside, the air is warmer. A simple bed rests against one wall, covered with a plain blanket. A small wooden table stands beside it with a candle, unlit now, as if even the flame is resting. You step inside and close the door softly behind you. The monastery is quiet outside, not empty, not abandoned, simply still. You sit on the edge of the bed. Your shoulders drop, your hands relax, your jaw softens. You listen to the silence. It is not the absence of sound. It is a presence, gentle and thick, like a soft fabric, laid over everything. You lie down. The blanket is cool at first, then warms as it settles over you. The room is dim, but not dark. A faint glow slips under the door from the hallway lamp. Your breathing becomes slower. In, out. The day feels far away now, not because it has been erased, but because it no longer needs your attention. Outside, the cloister garden rests. The fountain continues its quiet movement. The arches hold their repeating shapes. The books remain on shelves. The chapel candlelight has dimmed. The monastery remains steady and protective. And inside, you allow yourself to rest as well. Tonight, you are safe. Tonight, you are held by stillness. Tonight, sleep can arrive like the evening bell, gentle, certain, and calm, and you can let it stay. More Italian bedtime stories coming very soon. If you enjoyed this moment of calm, subscribe and like the video for more gentle storytelling.